Well, hello, welcome again to reading through of Iliad, book 22, and I got up to line 188. So the gods have met up in Olympus, and they've allowed Athena, and indeed Apollo, to engage in the contest between Achilles and Hector. And we finished off with Athena went darting down the heights or the crags, the mountains of Olympus. So now we continue with the chase, part of the chase scene between Hector and Achilles. So swift Achilles, this is from Heppo or Heppomai, chased after Hector. Clonione, funny verb, it has the sense of to drive in confusion or to cause panic or to put to flight. So swift Achilles, driving Hector in confusion, he chased after him asperges unceasingly. And then we get a nice simile here, which continues on for a few lines. So as when, the subject here is kuon, a dog. Diatai is from, different possibilities. Could be the verb diami, there's dmi, or there's dio, any of those verbs. It means to chase after. Ores phi, this is an old locative, on the mountain. So as when a dog chases after the nebron, the fawn of a stag, of a deer, or Orespi on the mountain. Orsas from Ornumi, driving it out from its bed, or perhaps its lair, you might say. Dia te ankia kai dia besas, through both the, or ankia, something like often translated dells or gorges, and through the besas, through the glens. Ton de her telethesi catapexas hypothamno. This is the ton here, I think, is the object of the verb down here. So the ton is referring back to the nebron, but the nebron is the subject of this little clause in here. So hold that one for a bit. So, and the a pair really is balanced by the ala te. As a kind of although and but. So it's literally if, but might translate it although that is the fawn, might escape notice, crouching down under the thicket. Alate, it's almost nevertheless, so but, it, the dog, thea, running after it empedon relentlessly, an iknuon, this is from Anna, plus iknuo is to track. The iknutes is the tracker, and iknuo is to track, and this is just Anna. Some people take this to mean backtracking. Could just mean hunting out. The verb only occurs here in Homer, so it's hard to pin it down exactly, but it's got the idea of hunting it down. So so just to do that bit again, well, I'll finish it off. So until it might find, and then the ton, it. So it's something like although the fawn might escape notice crouching down under the thicket, it's almost nevertheless the dog running after him relentlessly, hunting him out, offra ken hure, until he might find it. Offra can mean in order that, of course, but it can also have that sense of until with the subjunctive, which is what we've got here. So that's the simile, and then we get the closing of hos, balancing the hos up here. When you have these, the first hos has got no accent, the second one has an accent, so it's thus Hector did not escape the notice. Hector did not escape the notice from Lanthano of swift-footed son of Peleus. Hossarchy balanced with Tossarchy down here. So as often as now we get an optative here. This is one of these iterative optatives. So as oftentimes as he would set out from the gates of the Danaans, and to dart, well, perhaps I think the Antion probably with the Pouleon here. So as oftentimes as he might dart opposite the gates of the Danaans, sorry, he might set forth opposite the gates of the Danaans, exasthai from Isso to dart under the well-made or well-built towers, if post, this is enclitic, so the accent, we get cascading accents again. Hoi is enclitic, puts the accent onto here, that's enclitic, accent goes here. So if perchance, now the subject of the verb is they, but who are the they? Well, it's the men up on the towers of Troy shooting down arrows. This is an optative here. It's a reduplicated aorist optative, and the verb is alexo. You can see the alk root here. Alke is defense or help, and so this is the verb here. So if from above they might defend him or give him aid, hoi to him, beleesin with their missiles. So as often as that happened, at the same time, now we get paraphthas. This is from paraphthano. It's to get ahead of. So having got proparoithin in front of him, so as often as he did that, so often did he, this is Achilles, getting in front of him, might turn him back, prospedion, towards the plain. This is an iterative form. It's from apostrepho. It's an aorist, but it's an iterative with the sker root. So just to do that bit again, because it's quite tricky. So as often as he might set forth in front of the gates of the Danaans, to dart under the well-built towers, and then parenthetical almost, if perchance they from above might defend him with their missiles, so often did he, this is Achilles, getting in front of him, might try to turn him back towards the plain, or was turning him back towards the plain. But he himself continually petet, this is an epsilon elite gone here, he himself was, it's an imperfect, was flying, or, well, it's literally flying, patolios, this is a genitive here, well, towards the city, possibly in the sense of on the side of the city, in the direction of the city. So he himself was continually flying in the direction of the city. Then we get this, again, lovely break in the drama by Homer. It's very clever. He drags the whole thing out, and he now says, as in a dream, it's something like, you've got to supply tis or something, one is not able to pursue the one who is fleeing, neither is the one able to escape out from under the other, the ton, nor is the other one, understand, able, the Ocain, to pursue him. Hos and hos again. Thus, he was not able to seize him with his feet, other words, by running. This is from marpsai, from marpto, or marptomai, to seize. So thus he, this is Achilles, was not able to seize him with his, understand, swift feet, nor was he, that's the other one, that's Hector, able, understood, aluxai, to escape, to flee. So we have the same sort of structure as in the earlier bit, very cleverly constructed here. Hos deken Hector keras hup ex efugen thanatoion. And this is an amazing little section here. Again, it's a rare example of a rhetorical question from Homer to the audience. You don't get very many of these in Homer. It's quite surprising, and it again helps to sort of break up the tension and this flight scene. So how would Hector have escaped out from under, literally, the fates of death, perhaps almost the spirits of death, generally just rendered as fates, depending on how you translate care, which has a variety of translations, perhaps the fates of death, except that Apollo, ein tet, it's omicron gone here. This is from antomai, to meet or encounter with, and it goes closely with the enguthen, so it's to draw near to. So how would Hector have escaped out from under the spirits of death or the fates of death, except that Apollo met or drew near hoi to him, pumaton tekai hustaton. Lovely expression, for the last and final time. Apollo, who ep orsen, something like stirred up hoi for him, menos, strength, and literally swift knees or quick moving knees. La oisi de an enus de kerea ti dios Achilles. But, and don't forget the little particles are very important, but, glorious Achilles, well, he gave a nod, so he gave a signal, really. It means to nod up. So he gave a signal to the host, that is, to his own men, nor did he allow from them, understood, to Hiemenai, to release or to shoot their bitter missiles, belemna, this is neuter plural, their bitter missiles against Hector. Metis kudos, lest someone, Balone, having struck him, aroito, this is from arnumai, to win. There's lots of roots with R. This is from arnumai, meaning to win. So lest someone having struck him might win glory, but he, that is Achilles, might come second. But when, in fact, aphikonto, they came, tot tetaton, for the fourth time, epicrunus, to the streams, we've had those mentioned before, also at that time day, then, in fact, almost. So at that time then, in fact, the father, this is Zeus, et titaine, well, it's an expression that's used elsewhere, various places. Zeus holds up these scales, this weighing of scales, and this is the verb used here, so it means to stretch. So probably perhaps something like held out, possibly unfolded, stretched out might be better. So he stretched out the golden talanta, these are the scales, and in it, on them, he placed two fates of death, which is atane legios. It's a funny word, the etymology's not secure on this one. People translate it differently, possibly bringing extended pain, possibly long woe. We can just say woeful, perhaps. So on it he placed the two fates of woeful death, and then we get ta'en men and ta'en death, one of them of Achilles and one of horse-taming Hector. Helkedem mesa labon, having taken it in the middle, Helke, well, literally dragged, but probably drew it up, raised it up, and literally the fateful day of Hector, Repe, went down. The fated day of Hector, Repe, from Repo, went down or sank, another way of translating that. Now, literally, it says he went, but it may be referring to this fate, this carer. So it went into the house of Hades. You've got to supply oikon here as usual. This is a genitive. Into the house of Hades, and Phoebus Apollo lipen he for auton left him, deserted him. And the grey-eyed goddess Athena came, the grey-eyed goddess Athena came to the son of Peleus, Histamine Anku, standing nearby. She addressed him with winged words. Nunde noi e olpa. So she addresses him, it's valiant Achilles, dear to Zeus. Now, I expect, or perhaps almost I am confident, Noe is a dual, so that we two, and then oisesthai is a future infinitive from pharaoh in the middle. Pharaoh in the middle means another verb of winning, to carry for oneself and hence to win. So now I am confident that we two are about to win great glory for the Achaeans beside the ships. Proti for pros. Now this is interesting here because it's Homer is saying here that it's that only the gods ultimately resolve the fight. It's Zeus holding up the balance, and then it's going to be Achilles and Athena, the two of them. He uses this dual here. It's not left up to mortals alone. So always the gods are heavily involved in the action here. So again, dual, us destroying from Dei O'o. So us destroying Hector, although he is Aton insatiable in battle. Perhaps Aton could be irresistible or insatiable. One of the two of those, I think, this from this verb. But yeah, ou hoi nun eti gesti perfugmenon armi genestai. This is well, firstly the esti for exesti. So it is no longer in fact possible, don't forget the ge. It is no longer now, in fact, still possible for him. And we get this very strange periphrastic construction, literally to be one who has escaped harmeth us. So it's not possible for him, in fact, to be the one who has escaped us. Not if the far-working Apollo might suffer very many things. kulindominos, a very funny verb here. It means rolling in front of, so grovelling before, and takes a genitive, grovelling before the father, aegis-bearing Zeus. But you now, Stathi, stand here, kai pnue. The for ana and the pnue connected with that pneo verb, breathing. So anapnuo is to get your breath. So you wait here and get your breath, and I will persuade. This is a reduplicated future. It's only here, but it's based on the reduplicated aorist construction and probably used for the sake of meter, but you don't get many of these reduplicated futures, obviously from Patho. So I will persuade him to fight. Now you can either take the toi as persoi, opposite you or against you or face to face with you, any of those will do. So I will persuade him to fight against you. And that's the next part of book 22.